So, welcome to DeVlog Zooms, part of Devolution magazine, and we're here today with none other than the legendary John Bush, who's come to talk to us about the new band, Category 7. How's it going with you?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm great. I'm brilliant. I'm talking to all sorts of rock stars at the moment. It's fantastic.
Well, it's morning here. I'm having my coffee with my Armored Saint mug. And
Representing.
yeah, here I go. I'm in the middle of 8 interviews today, so hopefully I'll give you a good one.
Right, so the lineup for Category 7, right? Yourself, John Bush, Michael Lando from Adrenaline Mob, as he's best known, Phil Demmel from Machine Head, Violence, current Kerry King, Jack Gibson on bass from Exodus, Jason Bittner from Shadows Fall on drums. Is it fair to call this a supergroup?
Yeah, I was just telling the previous guy I did the interview with, I don't care for that title too much. It just sounds a little bit like full of yourself. Not
Yeah.
that, we're saying that, others are. I don't know. I wouldn't, I certainly wouldn't call it that, but it's a band of a bunch of veteran guys who've been around, as you just named everybody's resumes. Uh, and certainly people who have done a lot in the music business and the world of heavy metal. So I think that kind of speaks for itself. But yeah, supergroup is just kind of I don't know, it creates like pressure almost. It's nice. Nah, it's just a bunch of guys who got together um and and made a record. So I mean, but whatever. People can say what they want. It's fine.
The reason why I brought that up is because I thought it might be a dirty word because like this very much feels like a proper band, like it's no side project. Would that be correct in saying?
Well, it is for sure. It started off really kind of just simple, like writing some songs and hey, are you interested in this? And Phil and Mike sent me some stuff, and I was like, again, I don't know until I hear it. So then I heard it, and I was like, oh, this is cool. So I said, let me work on it. Let me write something and see if I can make it cooler, if we will. And then once we got some legs under ourselves, we started had momentum, and then next thing we know, we had enough for a record, and then everybody was in the fold, and it was like, oh, okay, this is cool, and everyone contributed their ideas and parts and to the songs, and then the record was done, and here it is. So
Yeah.
it feels right. It feels like a real band. And there's no denying everybody has a lot of other things going on, including myself. As you just named. And I mean, Carrie, I mean, Phil's in Europe right now, I think, and
Mm.
with Kerry King and doing shows. Everybody's busy, so it's going to have to be navigated through that
Yeah,
and
yeah.
worked out. But it's a cool thing because it kind of has its own little vibe going on, and I think to me that's great. That's the best part about it. Um, it Who knows? Maybe because and I'm just saying this at the moment, but maybe it'll create a real killer vibe by the fact that everybody is involved in other things. And then it'll be
Mm.
like, well, what about this? Well, what's
Mm.
going on with this? And maybe it'll create this kind of interest in that from that standpoint. It's not really in my mind that I'm doing that, but maybe that will be a kind of a natural development of the fact that everybody else has got other things. So it's how do you work this into it? And with every video and with the buzz on the record coming out and this, hopefully that will create this kind of energy that kind of bubbles up. So I don't know.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, you can definitely tell the heritage of all you guys because you can hear if you, I mean, because I've been listening to heavy metal for a long time, and you can hear the influences from each member, and they've all given room to breathe, which is really important on this record. And it doesn't sound like a mishmash because all of the different styles perfectly fit together. Um, have you like sort of consciously made an effort when you're songwriting just to let everyone have their piece?
I can't speak for Mike and Phil who wrote the bulk of the riffs and stuff. What their exact intention was on it, I think that they were just writing.
Mm.
They probably had a little idea and inkling of what they wanted to do, and what kind of tempos and all those things. When I
Mm.
got the songs, they were pretty much completed musically. So it
Mm.
was just mostly about putting vocals to them and working melodies in there and realizing what parts were I mean, it's obvious verses, choruses, those things are pretty simple, but it's like, okay, am I singing over this section? Should I sing over this? Should it just be music, whatever?
Mm.
Um, those are the things I contributed, but a lot of the music
Absolutely.
is, like I said, accomplished already. But I'm sure that they had a little bit of an idea. But, as the song, once you go from a musical piece, then you start putting vocals onto it, then it kind of takes another shape. And so
And
that it might have created, it might have changed form a little bit again then. And
I did read that they unanimously voted for you as a singer. They didn't actually have a second option. It said in the press release. Um,
oh, I'm
and
sure they would have. I'm sure they would have.
but the thing is, though, what you bring to the project, to my ears as a listener and as a fan, is you've got a real knack with hooks. Historically speaking, you can tell a John Bush chorus. You've done many of them, and they always soar. They've always like they're big, you
Thank you.
and especially with the verses, the choruses. I mean, the discography speaks for itself. But I love the fact that that's given time to shine on this record, and I can see why they chose you as a singer for this project because it really does give it that anthemic kind of big feel. Is that something you were going for?
Well, it's all my years of listening to pop music when I was a kid,
Mm,
I say that not even jokingly, seriously. I'm not a big fan of modern pop music,
mm,
or at least what you kind of typically hear on, well, American radio. It's not that I would listen to that. I periodically do just to hear it, just to go, okay,
mm.
that's garbage. But just to be just to reiterate it to myself, I'm like, man, that's terrible. But not everybody, of course, but there's a lot of really bad music out there. But but I do love a lot of pop music that I grew up on in the 70s, some in the 80s. That was good. Some great bands in the 90s, actually. But stuff that just great songwriting. It's really comes
Mm.
down to, it's funny because I remember back in the Armored Saint days with our first A&R guy, Ron Farrer, he would tell us like, you got to write great songs. And we were like, well, we did.
Yeah.
That's why you're interested in us as a band of scientists. Don't you think these are great songs? But I kind of think I knew what he was talking about. I
Mm,
knew what he was talking about now,
mm,
years later. I think that the idea was like, think of it as the song. And, you don't really know that until, you're a little older. When you're 19, 20, you just maybe don't, you don't have the ability of writing songs in the same manner as you do when you get a little older. You just kind
mm,
of develop and you develop a lot of things in life. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's always going to be in my mind. I mean, I'm a singer. The
mm,
goal is to have something that people can hum, but it's not always the vocals per se. It could be the riffs.
mm,
Let's face it, heavy metal is based on classic riffs that people are air guitaring and singing, so it's the riffs. It could be the beat, it could be the groove. It could even be a bass part. Steve Harris, let's face it, made a lot
oh
of
yeah.
amazing bass parts that were memorable. So Geezer Butler, you name it, fill in on whatever. So it's all about, the hook is the key. It doesn't always have to be vocals. Predominantly it is, but it can be anything. And the goal is to get those hooks out so they're in people's mind and subconsciously, and you're like, oh, you're humming it. You don't even remember that you were. And I feel the same way as a listener, and I love music and whatever just kind of sticks with me. And
Mm.
and I kind of try to apply it to me as a writer.
That's incredible. Oh, I just did an interview with a band called Breed 77 the other week, and we got into talk about songwriting, and you've just echoed exactly what they said. And they're a veteran band, and they understand like you can't make the lightning in a bottle happen, but you do pick up a couple of tricks along the way, you know.
Right.
And
That's very true. Yeah.
it certainly
You
feels like you
know,
got that.
yeah, I mean, so like on paper, you could have said, like, here's the five guys that are going to be in this. It's got to work, right? Not necessarily. So,
Mm,
I think the key is for this, and the great aspect of it was that it wasn't that. It wasn't like, okay, we have this on paper and logically it's just going to be awesome. Not necessarily. It's more about like write the songs and then
mm,
let the songs kind of be the factor, and let that be the thing that carries it. And then, everybody, you don't have to worry about everybody's ability and what they can bring to it. That'll kind of happen, with the natural synergy, I think, to it. It's more about write the songs, let the
mm.
songs be great. And if the songs are great, everything else will follow.
Absolutely. And the performances on this record are insane by your colleagues. I mean, Jason Bittner in particular on drums, my
Yeah, he's awesome.
goodness. Those drums are
Amazing.
insane.
Yeah,
Absolutely. If there's any drumming fans out there, they need to get on this straight away.
no
Um,
doubt.
so, like I was saying, like the hooks and the songwriting and all of that is something that comes through so much on this record, and it feels just like as I also have said, the sum of its parts. Um, where were you wanting to take this sort of lyrically? Like lyrically, where were the themes at that you were feeling at the time?
I mean, it's just every day you wake up and it's you look at the news and you have conversations with people and it's real simple. I mean, there's a plethora of ideas out there. The world is
Right
kind
now, yeah.
of we're going through this kind of metamorphosis right now. It seems like where there's just a lot to talk about, right? So, I mean, that's real simple, but it's about how you do it. I think that's again the goal as a writer, and it's about being witty with all that. And how do you do it with, I always like to try, I mean, and I don't think people know me and they hear Armored Saint, they would always go, oh, there's sense of humor there, but there really is a lot of the time in the writing, or at least a wink and a smile kind of thing. And, I always want to try to make people think. I don't want to just tell people what to think because I don't even know what to think sometimes.
Mm,
I'm always kind of like going, oh, you know what? I have a different stance on that topic now than I did, which I
mm,
think is a problem in society because I don't think people like we're in this weird world where it's like, this is how I believe, and that's it. And I will
mm.
believe that way until the rest of them, until I'm in the grave. It's like, really? Really? That you're not gonna have like an open mind at all of that shit. You're gonna say this is what I think forever. I don't know, it's weird to me. But I think, for me it's just about having an open mind about various things and let those things kind of determine how you think and feel about stuff. And that's really where I'm at with it. I like hearing ideas out there about the way the world is going, but not necessarily again take it and then tell people, oh, well, this is how you should view life.
Yeah,
It's more about how do I view it and what can I think about this and how can I change that kind of theory. And it's always growing, and it's always that's what I always want to do, is always kind of like just keep elevating my brain and my
absolutely.
thought process regarding vocals and lyrics, and let it all kind of apply and sink in. I don't know. That's
Mm.
and that's the big challenge actually. So it's fun.
I always say there's never too late to like. No one's ever learned it all. No one's ever experienced it all, and anybody who deals in absolutes is generally ripping themselves off. So I totally agree with everything you just said.
That's a great way of saying it. You're ripping yourself off, but I think it's a weird time where people feel like they have to, like, if they're not steadfast in their belief, then they're kind of wishy-washy, or possibly will be viewed as insecure, or maybe not committing, or there's all the things that can go with it. It's like if you don't stand by this, then you're not certain, and if you're not certain, you're not strong. And it's like, well, man,
Mhm.
you're always learning.
Absolutely.
You're learning till you're dead. You just are. You're always learning from the moment you come out of the womb till the moment you're, however you end your life, whether you're, you know, in ashes thrown off into the Atlantic, or if you're, in a grave, or, I don't
Mm.
know, whatever. Everybody's, and now I've been reading about this natural burials where people, like, it reminds me of the movie Zombie. I was like, whoa, man, don't be caught in one of those areas, and there's too many George Romero movies that I've seen. But yeah, whatever. However you're from, I mean, look, one of my best friends, Dave Pritchard, a guitar player in Armored Saint, who's incredible and legendary. The guy died at 26. His life was cut
Mm.
short. He lived a very full life in that time, and he had a lot more to offer musically, of course, and as a person. That guy was hilarious and just a great artist, and what you name it. I miss him daily, actually. But
Mm.
uh, his life it ended shorter. Some people will live till they're 90, so, but you're always growing, and you should. I mean, the day when you stop and say, okay, I've learned it all. I'm good.
You
It's
might as
like,
well quit.
yeah,
Just
then you
quit.
might as well kill yourself, right? So I was like,
That's
I don't
awesome,
know.
man.
I don't know.
Well, Well, you call Category 7. It certainly feels like a force of nature. Love this record, man.
Thank you.
I've only got you for a short period of time, I'm afraid. But we could go on this topic for a long,
Right.
long time, man. But thank you so much for being with me here today. This is incredible. It's a great honor.
Well, thank you for just having a conversation. Those are the best interviews anyway, you know.
That's what I try for.
No, that's good. I woke up today, I was supposed to have 6 interviews and I realized I have 8. I was like, whoa. I don't have a problem talking about the things I've done. You know, I can be a
Yeah,
little long-winded at times. It's just more about not, it's kind of like with lyrics and melodies. It's just no about not repeating yourself. And
mm,
that is certainly enhanced when you're having a conversation with a writer and you're kind of just talking and throwing stuff out. It's a lot
that's
better.
that's the best stuff, I think. I think if you feel like you're eavesdropping on a conversation you shouldn't be hearing, they're the best ones.
Man, you come up with a couple cool ones. I might have to steal a few ideas here.
You're welcome.
That's
Thank you
good.
so much for being with us here today. And just, yes, I can't wait
Yeah,
to.
yeah. And if you can come see an Armored Saint show, we're not playing actually in Leeds, but we are doing a bunch of shows in Britain in August. So please,
Oh, I'm there, man.
yeah, please do.
Thank
All
you
right,
so
brother.
much.
All
Take
right,
care,
George, take
brother.
it easy, man. See you soon. Thank you for all the support.
Cheers, brother. Bye bye.
Bye bye.